This lesson is for PSD 201. The skill is to calculate the average of a list of positive whole numbers. Okay, so let's begin first with talking about the definition of an average. So here it says to find an average, you're going to find the sum of a group of numbers and then divide 37. So what I'm going to do is find the sum of all of those numbers. So I'm going to add up all of these numbers, and then I'm going to go ahead and divide by the total number of numbers that I have. So if you count, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. So we're going to divide by a total of 4. Now, the only thing is you want to make sure you're putting this in your calculator correctly, okay? So let me pull up the calculator here. So when I type this in, if I type this in as 65 plus 45 plus 48 plus 37, and then I hit divided by 4, I'm actually going to get the wrong answer for this. So I'm going to write this answer down here, 167.25. Okay, now we're going to do it again the correct way. What we're going to have to do is put parentheses around the entire sum. So 65 plus 45 plus 48 plus 37, and my parentheses, and then hit divide by 4. This time I'm going to get the correct answer, which is 48.75. Okay, now the reason why we're getting two different answers for this, and even though it looks really similar, is because our calculator is saying to do order of operations, which would imply that we have to divide first, 37 divided by 4, and then add them all up. But that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to find the sum first and then divide by another number. So you want to make sure you're entering this every time correctly, so make sure you find the entire sum first, then hit the divide key, or put the parentheses around your sum in the first place. Okay, so back to here, this is the incorrect answer. Our total here for the average was 48.75. Okay, alright, now this next problem is a word problem. And this word problem is going to be similar to what you're going to see. This isn't always going to just be a problem similar to what we just did in number 1. A lot of times you're going to have a word problem, okay? So it's going to be a little bit more difficult than just for figuring out an average. So what you have to do is figure out what the question's asking for one, and then you have to find your relevant information. So it says Patty was trying to get a good grade in math. She studied very hard and got an 80% on her first test. She was determined to do better, so she studied even harder. On her second test, she earned a 90%, and she kept up her hard work, and she was rewarded with 100% on her third test. So this question says, what was Patty's average test score? So the important part here is to realize that she had 3 test scores. So she took 3 tests, and her test scores were 80, then 90, then 100. So we're going to find the average of these by adding up 80 plus 90 plus 100, and then dividing it by the total number of tests that she took, which was 3. So in our calculator, we're going to type in 80 plus 90 plus 100. We can hit enter first and then hit the divide by 3 key, or if you want to enter it all at once, make sure you put parentheses around it like we talked about here in the example before. So she has a 90% average. Okay, the last question that you guys are going to do, I would like you to pause the video and just read this question, try this on your own, and then play back the video. So Ray and Stan want to see who can throw a ball the farthest, and they decide to decide that the winner would be the one that had better average after 6 tries. So I'm going to underline this because I think that's going to be important. It says Ray's throws went 9 feet, 12 feet, 10 feet, 14 feet, 12 feet, and 15 feet. So I'm going to also write that down. So Ray had 6 tries. This first one was 9, then 12, then 10, then 14, 12, and 15. Then it says Stan, he threw for 9 feet, 10, 11, 10, 11, and then finally 15. So the next question says, who was the winner? So what we're going to have to do is figure out the average for Ray first, and then we're going to figure out the average for Stan, and then we're going to compare which one had the largest distance. Okay, so let's start with Ray. 9 plus 12 plus 10 plus 14 plus 12 plus 15 divided by the total number, which is 6. So when I calculate that, again, make sure you put that in parentheses, or you hit enter after you do the sum first. So the top part here is 72 after I just do the sum of these numbers. And then if I do 72 divided by 6, I get 12. So his distance was 12 feet, his average distance. And then we'll work on Stan's average distance. So we're going to do the same process. So you just want to be careful again that you're entering this correctly in your calculator. So if I do 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 10 plus 11 plus 15, I get 66. And if I divide 66 by 6, I only get 11 feet. So Ray drew the farthest. Okay, that's the end of lesson for PSD 201.